Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is a beautiful, beautiful day, which is Thursday. And yes, I am in Progress Village. I'm walking up 83rd Street. And yes, this is Progress Village News. And yes, I had to put the bicycle down. I hurt my foot. I want to say I stepped on a nail Saturday. I stepped on a nail Saturday. I'm supposed to be getting the tetanus shot today. And it hurts my foot to ride the bicycle. So I decided that I was going to walk today because it is a little sore. But we're going to start it off with the morning announcements. The most important morning announcement that I think that I could ever give is going to be Wednesday coming. We're having a community meeting at Emanuel P. Johnson. Start time is 6:30. And this community meeting, anybody could come. It is not specifically geared towards Progress Village. It's geared to anybody that wants to make a change and wants to be a part of what's going on. I called it communication because we need to communicate with other communities. We need to communicate with the neighborhood. We need to communicate with the residents. So that's why I was saying communication. And basically we're going to get the information out to everyone that is not on social media. Because right now, mainly everything that I've done is being centered around social media as far as getting the information out there. And from the last event that I did, which was the cookout, which was a successful event. And every time I think about the cookout, I just think about the process that it took to go and host a cookout and to make it a successful event. And there's a lot of things, and there was a lot of key and major sponsors, people who supported it that you will never, well, I ain't gonna say you never knew about, but you didn't know about basically until now. And to be honest, it basically took 2 years to get this event to where it was in 2025. 2 years. And it always started with, good morning. It always started with the sale of the shirts. And what I mean by the sale of the shirts, everyone who knows or who was a part of previous cookouts, that is basically how we paid for the cookout. We always sold shirts. And this is my new shirt here for the podcast. But we basically always sold shirts. And the money we made for the shirts is what made the cookout free. The money we made from the shirts. So for the previous 2 years, I was always having issues with trying to get to the shirt because, like I say, right now in January is when I always would start. I would start with a post, save the date. And this year, save the date is the day after Christmas. Yes, we having the cookout the day after Christmas. Yes, yes. The last Saturday of the year is the day after Christmas. So yes, the cookout will go down. All right now, the cookout will go down. You sit there in Progress Village doing their thing. This is on Ash. I'm walking up Ash to Little Park. So the cookout will go down on the 26th. And as you know, anybody that's been associated or affiliated with the cookout in the past, that the selling of shirts and donations is what pays for the cookout. So I always wanted it to be known that if you purchased a shirt, you automatically are a sponsor of the cookout. That will make you a cook. That will make you a sponsor by purchasing a shirt, because the people, we always say we're feeding you for free. Yeah, the food free to you, But at the end of the day, you always have to realize somebody paid for it. Somebody paid for it. So I always believe in community supporting each other. So when you have individuals that are buying shirts to wear for the cookout, they are sponsoring and they're making it possible to be able to feed. Now, one thing about the cookout, we can always host a cookout. We don't have to feed. We don't have to do that. We could do it with food trucks. We could do it with vendors. We could do it with exhibitors. We can do it. There's all kind of ways the cookout can be hosted. But the reason that the cookout was started by Keith Hernandez is around Christmas time, a lot of people come home and visit their loved ones and visit their family members for the ones that moved out of Progress Village. So the reason we always do it the last Saturday of the year, that's it. And he always wanted the cookout to be free. So 2-3 years ago, when he basically gave me the keys to an already established event. This event was already established. It wasn't nothing hard. Well, I ain't gonna say it wasn't nothing hard for me to do because I did have to put in the work. But this event was already established. People in the community knew about it. I just had to come up with how I was gonna host it and how I was gonna do the event. That's the only thing I had to do because I couldn't do it exactly how Keith did it. Because one thing about Keith paid for everything up front. The food, the caterers, whatever. Keith paid for everything up front. That way ain't nobody had to worry about making this and ain't nobody had to worry about we had to raise this. Keith paid for everything up front. And once he paid for everything up front, because I know a lot of people heard the stories, oh, they gave Keith this and Keith got this money, or they paid for this for Keith and they did this for Keith. That wasn't the whole story. The reason Keith got the money was because we was paying Keith back for what he put into the event. He paid for everything up front. We sold the shirts, and the money we made off the shirts, we gave to Keith because Keith paid for the caterers. Keith paid whatever needed to be paid for. Keith paid for it up front. So it went like, oh, we got to sell 500 shirts, or oh, we got to do this. Keith paid for everything up front, and we paid Keith back. Now remember, if Keith paid $5,000 out of his pocket, Keith might have got $3,500 back. So I'm not saying Keith lost $1,500, but what I am going to say is Keith made a $1,500 donation. And that's basically how the cookout was being operated. And me personally, I knew this. Y'all didn't know this, but I knew this because I was in the background helping get the cookout together all them years. So I knew this, and I knew I wasn't doing that. So when I came on board, my main focus was work with what we have. Whatever we raise, that's what we spend on the cookout. And I always like to say, I believe in doing more with less. So the meaning of doing more with less is you got to make I had to make smart decisions when it came to fundraising. I had to make smart decisions when it came to whatever I wanted to buy for the event. Like I say, dealing with the shirts, people wanted us to sell shirts, sell hats. But at the end of the day, in order to sell hats, and just like in order to sell shirts, a lot of times you need that upfront money. And I just, being honest, I wasn't really willing to put my money out there like that and hoping I get a return, or I was hoping I get it back. But at the end of the day, guess what? I ended up doing it anyway. That wasn't my goal. That wasn't my plan, but that's what had happened. But the main reason it had happened, because it was so many people in the background that I don't know what they thought. I don't know where they was from or what they was going through, But they thought I was by myself. They thought I was doing this by myself. No, I was never doing this by myself. I had support. Just because they're not upfront saying this or trying to get you to do this, I had support from day one with doing the cookout. The thing was, we just ain't know what we was going to do or how I was going to do it, but I had support from day one. And yes, I posted it, and yes, I did. That's what I was supposed to do. But it was a lot of people that I guess they felt like I didn't have a big production or I wasn't doing this. No, I felt like I shouldn't have to do this. And this is a established event. The cookout is established. We've been doing the cookout for at least, I want to say, 10 years. That wasn't the first cookout. So I just believe that based off our track record of the cookout, that it wasn't really much that I had to do but pay for the vendors, pay the caterers, I paid whatever I needed to pay. And like I said, get the awards together and do this. And one of the main functions that I believe in the community cookout is, now this is something that I learned from previous cookouts and previous distractions towards the cookout. The main thing that I learned, and I believe is, anything that's dealing with the cookout, if I could use any neighborhood vendors, use them. So that's what I did. Basically, everybody that we spent money on, or everybody we paid for a service dealing with the cookout, was a vendor. Janice was Progress Village. We paid Janice for the awards. We paid Janice, and she turned around and made a donation to the cookout. But Janice got paid to make them awards. I could have went to any trophy establishment and had them trophies made up. But I decided that I wanted to use somebody from Progress Village. And it could have been somebody from Palm River. It could have been somebody from Sampson Park. It could have been somebody from Clairemont, Riverview, whatever. But I wanted to be somebody that I knew, and I wanted to be somebody that was familiar or knew about the cookout. I just didn't want to go to a business and just run it like them, because when you're dealing with big businesses, a lot of times they don't take your concerns, or they don't really feel what you feel and what you're trying to do for the community. They're going to do just what you say, whether you know what you want or not. And that's what you did with, just like right now. I don't know if some of y'all may know Vernon. I call him the cable guy, because he always going to be the cable guy to me. But me and Vernon used to work at Waste Management together. And I've been trying to deal with Vernon for years on doing basically the same project, making a bike drop. It's finally going to happen this year. Vernon is making us a bike drop for our event. So now when I have an event, I'm going to have a bike drop. Whenever I do my podcast, I'm going to have a bike. Oh, that looks so beautiful. Look at them cars. Look at the sky bike there. Now, that's a beautiful bike drop right there. But like I said, since we were talking about bike drops, I always try to deal with people I know. And Vernon's a good dude. And like I said, I was able to sit down. I ain't talk to Vernon on the phone, explain to Vernon what I want. Vernon sent all the proofs, all the proofs over before he went to work, and we basically got everything settled in. I think it was either yesterday, it had to be Tuesday. We got everything settled in Tuesday. I paid Vernon for his services, and now we're gonna have a bike drop. And the bike drop base for any event we do, any meeting we have, the bike drop will be at the meeting. You're more than welcome to take pictures in front of the bike drop. You're more than welcome to do whatever you want to do, because, like I say, these are community events. And one thing that I noticed, when you have that bike drop there, it sets a tone and it shows, what you're representing, and it gives people an opportunity to take a part and take a picture. And once you take that picture in front of that bike drop, it's just like when you go to the club, or when you go to a comedy show, or when you go to any show, they always got that bike drop. Because once you take that picture in front of that bike drop, everybody know that you was there. So I got that set up. That's something that I just decided to do. That's something that I felt like needed to be done. But like I said, the same thing, I've been wanting a bike ride. I mean, I've been wanting a bike drop since we were doing the bike rides. So the kids go to the bike ride, they can take a picture in front of the bike drop. This is something that I had a vision for probably over 7 years ago, and it just now is taking 7 years to have the bike drop as that. But the reason I'm bringing this up is to let you know that it's a lot of things that you have a vision to, then life hit you, and now you got to take care of this, and now you got to do this. But at the end of the day, don't lose sight. And the reason I bring that up again, because I had done forgot that I want to say after the first cookout we did, I want to do a You See It award after the first cookout. I want to sponsor You See It award. And basically, when you sponsor an award, that means you paying for the award. You and your staff or your team or your committee or whatever you come up with, y'all come up with, I don't really want to say guidelines, but y'all come up with reasons why people should get that award. And then you find somebody and then you make them an award, you award them with the award that you came up with. So I created the You See It award, which I didn't realize this was something that I talked about 7 years ago until I was going back on one of my Facebook stories and it popped back up. This was something that I was talking about 7 years ago. And just because it popped up in my stories, it could have been 10 years ago. But then it made me remember that this was something that I wanted to do ever since we did the first cookout. And I was nominated King of Progress Village for the year. A lot of people don't know that I was the only one to ever get that award until I gave it to Chad this year. And I gave it to Chad because, like I say, Chad is from Progress Village, and Chad bought the Mars 47 to Progress Village. They could have went anywhere. That's what a lot of people don't realize. When you make a conscientious decision to do something, it's up to you to where you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, and proceeding from there. He had the ability to bring the Mars to Progress Village, the first Mars that we ever had. We got plenty of churches, but the first Mars that 47 was the first mosque ever inside of Progress Village. So we got that. So that's part of the reason why he was named King of Progress Village. But as I said, if you follow Chad Muhammad on social media, you will see that they're doing a lot. They got a lot of I don't want to call them meetings, but I'm going to call them meetings. They got a lot of meetings that's dealing with like self-betterment, things that are going to make you better. And the thing about it is you do not have to be a Muslim to attend these meetings. You do not. Now, they have meetings that where you got to be a member or they will tell you, but to no offense, 99% of the things they doing, the community is welcome to come to. They're going to be at the community meeting on the 28th at Emanuel P. Johnson. If y'all got questions, y'all need to ask them, write them down, have them together. And I'm quite sure if Chad not there, he will have somebody there representing him that will be able to help to answer your questions and to tell you about the things and the meetings that they host in Progress Village at the mosque that you can go to. Because I want to say, I think they do something on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They probably do things other than that. But if you follow them and if you're interested, you will know. And one of the biggest things that I know, a lot of y'all do not know Jackson. But Jackson is a young kid that I ran, I had a You See It contest where somebody had to shoot a video of them saying You See It. I think I did this like 3 years ago. And I had it on social media. I put it on TikTok, I put it on YouTube, and I also put it on Facebook. And we probably had about 25, I think we had about 25 entries. And I didn't care where they was from, but whoever won the bicycle, I was going to ship the bicycle to them from money that I had from sponsors. I was going to ship the bicycle to them. That was doing the Get Kids on Bike area. I was going to have whoever won the bike, we was going to take it to Joe up there at Just Ride Bikes. We were going to have Joe pipe the bike up and we was going to mail it to him. But we was going to be able to do that through the support of people like Carnell at the barbershop, Battle Cuts Carnell, Albert Mosley with Mosley Lawn Care, Pat Collington, I think that's how you say her name. I always call her Miss Pat. So People like that made donations to the Kimberly Jones. All of them was making like donations. So all us, whoever won the bike, we was gonna make sure they got the bike. But guess what? Somebody, and I didn't know the kid was from Progress Village, but the person that won the bicycle this was like a nationwide giveaway. Cause like I said, it was on social media, and I was trying to make sure I had people that was gonna be supporting it to where we can make sure we was able to get the money together and ship the bike out. And fortunately, I didn't know Jackson from a can of paint. Jackson won the raffle. Jackson won the raffle because Jackson, I did not know he was a producer. If I had known he was a producer, that probably would have been one of the reasons why he couldn't enter the award. But Jackson, he was a producer. He actually made a rap, made a song, or You See It, about Progress Village. And he did this like 3, 4, 5 years ago. And based off of that alone, you already know we was giving the bike away at the cookout, and it was a wet cookout that year. So he won the bicycle. He ended up being off of Alamanda, so we did not have to worry about getting the funds up to ship the bicycle. But Jackson has won, and ever since then, I've been staying in contact with Jackson through social media. And don't forget to stay on Alamanda. For those of you who do not know, this is actually Brian Ricks. God rest his soul in peace. Brian Ricks, this is Brian Ricks' nephew. So his name is Jackson. So I've been keeping an eye on him, and every opportunity when Jackson come home from college, he always get in contact with me because he want to volunteer. He wants to do things in the community. And me and him always been, going back and forth. And I've basically been trying to help him out on ways that he can, just do things in the community that he want to do, because he has a passion to serve. He has a passion to serve, and he has a passion for music. So I got him on. So when you have connections, you use your connections for people who you think it would be beneficial to. So since Jackson always wanted to volunteer, I got him in contact with Raheem Douglas and Tasha Mingo at Hillsborough County Parks and Rec. So with that being said, I ain't saying that's their responsibility, but I know they're going to look out for Jackson. And all Jackson basically have to do is follow up with them, and they'll be able to assist him in volunteering or whatever he could do when he come home from college during his spare time. And another things you do not know is during the planning stages of the cookout, and the reason I'm talking about the cookout today is because I just want people to know that do not base your decisions on you not being successful and your message is not getting across. Don't base that off of how many likes you getting on social media, how many people sharing your posts, how many people leaving comments telling you to keep forward. Do not base your decisions to keep moving forward based off of that. Because I want to tell you, it's a lot of people that don't do that, but they still see your content and they still see what you got going on, whether it's through word of mouth or they just know what you're doing because they following you. Some of them can't like your posts. Some of them can't. Some of them won't. You know what I'm saying? But in the background, you have a lot of fans that don't want you to know they fans, which is okay. You got to live, you got to live in the shell, and you got to live the life that you choose for yourself. There's a lot of people on social media up under fake names, don't have no profile picture and all of that, because it's like they just come here to get whatever they want to get to fulfill their time or spend their time in that time frame of day. They just come to get that, and then they move on. So do not base no decisions, or don't stop pushing whatever you doing just because of that. Because I get people tell me every day, Sean, I seen this, and then I be like, damn, ain't nothing but 4 people like that post. So that's another one that seen it, didn't share it, didn't like it. But it's all good, because one thing about it, what is meant for you, God is gonna make sure it's get out there. If you want likes and you want comments, pray about it. That's all I can tell. I just want information to get out there. That's my thing. And so many people get mad with me because I don't like their posts or I don't comment on their posts. I want y'all to know right now, I'm working on that. But the reason I'm working on that, because I post so much to a point to where I don't have time to just scroll down looking for people posts. If it come to my timeline and I see it, I'ma like it, I'm gonna put some eyes on there, and I'm gonna keep it moving. That's just because I don't sit on Facebook and just read every post and do that. I'm more of a poster. But like I said, 2026 is bringing some changes. I'm going to work on it better because 9 times out of 10, most of my posting and most of my comments and most of my editing videos and all that, I do that shit like 3 o'clock in the morning. So a lot of times, if I do respond to something that you did, or if I do like it, or if I do tag this or share it, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be at night. Cause that's when I basically be on social media like that. I do a lot of my editing at night. I post it, I share, I do all of that at night. So don't think that I'm looking at your thing and I'm just speeding by. If I see it, I'm gonna repost it. And I'm gonna go you one step even further. Send it to me. I'll repost it. Tag me in it. If you tag me in it, it's already gonna go to my live, to my feed. You can tag me in it. You can send it to me, whatever. Cause one thing for sure, if you tag me in some BS, I'm gonna take the tag off. So that's not an issue. You can tag me in whatever you want to tag me in. If I don't agree with it, or if I don't think that's appropriate for what I'm doing, then I'm gonna turn around and I'll take the tag off myself. You don't have to worry about it. You can tag me in whatever. Because just like I said, if I'm not in agreement with it, or I might have a problem with it, or I don't know what you got going on, and I don't really want to be associated with it, I'll take the tag off. It ain't no big deal. Because everybody got a right to support who they want to support. They got the right to do what they want to do. But what you don't have the right to do is basically tell somebody not to do this and you can't do this unless you the police or unless they breaking the law. So that's what's going on that. And a lot of things that, like I said, I don't take these events lightly. I do all the research, and I watch how other people host events. I watch what other people do as far as when it comes to what I do. And what I mean by that is when I went to and that's why I be trying to see y'all. When I seeing y'all about community events, sometimes you might want to go, even if it's not in your community, for one reason, because I go. If I'm available, I'm going. The reason you might want to go, even if it's not in your community, is because you get the opportunity. They open up the doors and you get the opportunity to see how they function, to see what they doing. Because like I said, when you go to them events out there in Fishhawk, in that area there, and in the city, when you see how they operate things, you can take what they doing. If you see something that you feel like you can apply that to your community, ain't nothing wrong with getting that together and doing it. Because one thing I want to do so bad, but I just don't have the time to do it, is I've been watching like a lot of communities, they have like a yard sale at one location, and everybody who got something to sell or they want to do this, everybody will post up and they'll sell whatever they cleaning out their garage, whatever they got for sale, they'll do it. And it's similar to what C. Renee was doing at the roundabout. I wouldn't mind bringing that bike. And like I said, if you could charge a fee, if not, it's not, you don't have to. But that's something that I'm thinking about trying to be a part of and get back into one Saturday out the week. And basically whatever money that we raise for that event, that can go to paying for the other events we do in the community, mainly the cookout. Because at the moment, we're trying to set up and get a Juneteenth event set up in Progress Village. We don't know where we're going to host it at. We don't even know if it's going to be in Progress Village, but I would like to get some people together who are interested in hosting a Juneteenth event. And that's another reason for the meeting, trying to get people to sign up that want to do that. And I also want to get a dream team together. This dream team is going to be comprised of people who don't mind going out, checking up on our seniors, making sure they're getting the information, making sure they know about the upcoming events, make sure they're basically informed on what's going on in the community. And also, like I said, when hurricanes come, we can be 10 toes down for us making sure they got sandbags, or making sure they got a ride to the shelter if they're going to the shelter, or making sure they got a way to get in contact with their loved ones. That's basically what the dream team mean to me, is looking out for the scenes. Because it's something y'all don't know. When the last hurricane hit, it was a lot of people got in contact with me to go check on their folks. A lot of people. Kim Jones, I went and checked on Miss Judy. I went and checked on a lot of people, family members out here in Progress Village, because I think Miss Singleton, I forgot which one is Sable. Sable wanted me to go check on other people around there on Alamanda. There's a lot of people that got in contact with me. And if y'all remember when the hurricane hit us, I was riding around Progress Village through the mud, through the water, walking in boots, riding the bike through the water, making sure that people, family members were straight, which I ain't had a problem with doing that because I felt like that was my duty. But at the end of the day, them the type of things we're going to be talking about at this community meeting in Progress Village at Emanuel P. Johnson. And the things that we're talking about, the discussions we having, this go for all communities. All communities can have a dream team. All communities can have a cookout. All communities. So, like I said, you do not have to be from Progress Village to come to this meeting on the 28th. I want it to be so many people at this meeting to where some of y'all men out there, some of the gentlemen, but I already know more women gonna show up than men. Some of y'all gonna have to stand up and give y'all seat to the young ladies. I already know this. And I know y'all ain't gonna have a problem with doing that, because I know I wouldn't. Because I'm gonna probably be standing up the whole time. So keep that in mind. And I'm also go back to the Juneteenth event. I went to a Juneteenth event that was held at, I guess, the county building downtown, which is that pink looking building. And when I went at that meeting, when I went to that Juneteenth celebration, that's what made me decide that I wanted to do something in Progress Village or close to Progress Village when I went to that meeting. Now this goes back to me telling y'all about come to these meetings. When I went to that Juneteenth event, I ran into a person that was very influential and was very, I don't know the word that I'm looking for, but I ran into somebody that was a big part in my success in hosting events and doing things in Progress Village. And her name is Adrian. Adrian is over Parks and Recs. I was introduced to Adrian by Pat. Pat is Tasha Mingo boss. But at the end of the day, all of this started through Tasha Mingo. I met Tasha Mingo like 3 years ago. Everything started through Tasha Mingo, which I didn't know. I didn't know Pat. I didn't know Adrian. I met Pat through Tasha Mingo, and I met Adrian, who is Pat boss, through Pat. But the reason I'm bringing this up is to where people that you meet at these meetings, a lot of these people, you don't even know who they are. Like, I met a Tony Bailey. Tony Bailey is like a supervisor over the garbage, over, the waste department. So whenever I have issues, I get in contact with Tony Bailey. But I met Tony Bailey at a town hall meeting. Got her information. We talked. She let me know what she told me. If I had a problem, I would call Tony Bailey. A man on 80, I think a man was on 87th and 88th. Their backdoor service was getting missed for the garbage. They got in contact with me. I called Tony Bailey up. Tony Bailey sent somebody out here to go get their backdoor service. Backdoor service is something that people pay extra for. Well, the garbage man go in your backyard, get your can, bring your can to the truck, dump it, and then take it back. It was some backdoor services that was being missed in Progress Village. People got in contact with me. I got in contact with Tony Bailey. Tony Bailey made it happen. So these are the type of people that you run into at town hall meetings and at community meetings. You run into people, they come to these meetings, you meet them, introduce them, they give you information, and they're able to help you. Just like when we had the garbage from the community cleanup, when they cleaned up Progress Village Boulevard, that garbage was out there. I got in contact with Joe Gross. I met Joe Gross at a community town hall meeting. And I called Joe Gross up. Joe Gross, and I called him on a Tuesday. Somebody called me up, Sean, the garbage still out there. I said, don't worry about it. Called Joe Gross. That Wednesday, Joe picked it up, texted me, mission completed. So when you go to these meetings, it's a lot of people. All you have to do is introduce yourself to them, find out who they are, and you'll be able to use their services. They'll be able to help you dealing with situations you dealing with at home, or just in your life in general. But like I said, when I met Adrian, anything I'm going through, I go through the steps now. The first step, I talk to Tasha, and then Tasha run it down the line. And then, but when it go down the line, it go down the line smooth. When I say it go down the line smooth, it go down the line smooth. Because Pat know me. Pat done had conversation. Me and Pat done had talk. Pat know my vision. Adrian done talk to me. Adrian know what I do. Adrian see what I do. And that's what I want to tell y'all. Adrian probably see every post I make in the morning dealing with Parks and Rec, dealing with the big park, dealing with shutting up. Adrian probably see all them posts, but guess what? Adrian ain't gonna like now one of them. Adrian ain't gonna put no comment. She ain't gonna do none of that, but Adrian sees them. That's what I want you to know. People see your post. Other people might share it to them. Other people might send it to them. People see what you doing. People see. Adrian see every post I do, but she will never like nothing. She'll never do it. I don't want somebody recording this, screenshot, and sending it to her, but Adrian sees what I do. Pat sees what I do, and I know Tasha know what I do, because 9 times out of 10, I'm going to tag Tasha and Lisa Wright if I don't tag nobody else. But I'm just telling you, do not stop doing what you're doing because you don't feel like you making a point, or somebody seeing your vision, or you being heard. Because that is just crazy. You being heard. They may not like it, or they might not, comment on your post, but you are being heard. And the reason I'm saying that is this week alone, starting Sunday, I got a call to come to the Mars. And when I went up to the Mars, I didn't know this. We in the final call. The cookout in the final call. I get a text message last night. Now we're in the Florida Signal. That's what I mean by keep doing what you're doing, because I didn't know nothing about this. Somebody contacted me and let me know we was in the final call. And then the final call, that's a national paper. One thing I know about the final call, it's everywhere. It's national. So people seeing what we did, and guess what? When they see what we did in Progress Village, just because it's in the final call, because everybody read the final call, it's not a Muslim. When they read that, they see what we did, and then guess what? That inspires other communities to try to do the same thing. I get so many calls and messages through social media and on my phone on how you do this. Sean, was it hard doing this? Sean, how did you get the money? Sean, how did you this? I get so many phone calls pertaining to how was I able to host bike rides? How was I able to do this community event? And I just basically tell them how I go. This was not planned. This is not what I wanted to do, but it did. In reality, it started from posting things on social media, getting me a GoPro, and I started posting what I'm doing. Like right now, I have a Pacific camera that I'm holding in my hand right now, to where I'm holding the phone, but I'm not holding the phone. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's specific things you do on social media tag, and people get in contact with you if they want to be part of what you're doing. So don't stop, because like I said, I've been doing this for over 7 years, and this what's been happening now. And like I said, this weekend alone, I done, the story of what we've been doing in this community has been put in 2 papers pertaining to the cookout. And the cookout happened the last Saturday in December. But guess what? Like I said, the cookout this year is going to be the day after Christmas, which is going to be, I know it's going to be a job, but I know, like I said, with my support team and my supporters and my sponsors, the cookout, I know it's going to go down. And, we got plans for it. But like I said, for me, in order for things to be 100 and correct, for me, it does take a year to get everything together, especially when you're doing other things as well. And like I said, when after this meeting on the 28th, and I have a committee together. I have a group of people that's interested in hosting the Juneteenth event. We're going to go from there. We're going to put it in the works and do that. Somebody told me to get in contact with the Tucker twins. I done messaged them and called them. I ain't called them, but I did message them and let them know that, we were trying to do a Juneteenth event. Whenever I hear back from them, I share the information because just like I said, the Juneteenth event for me last year basically led up to everything that I'm doing. I did that year and after that. And like I said, I feel like it's important. But if you want to ride to the city for a Juneteenth event, it's no big deal from that. But there's a lot of communities being built up out this area, and we shouldn't have to ride to the city for a Juneteenth event, or Plant City, or wherever they have them at. We should be able to host one right here. And once the Juneteenth event get hosted, whoever knows what other event can get hosted. If you seeing like Black History Month is next month, what I'm gonna do is try to go to every Black History event I could do. And if I see something I like, I'd be like, you know what, we might need to try to do this in Progress Village or the surrounding areas, or what they call it, South Tampa or Southeast, South Side. I think they call this the South Side. Try to do something like this on the South Side for Black History Month. I believe something should always be going on in your community for the better of the community. And people should know how to get in contact with you. People should know how to if they need assistance or they need to know what's going on. I feel like that information should be available to everybody on and off Facebook or on and off social media. I feel like it should be set up to where they know what's going on in your community. Because from the cookout, it was people that were at the park that I spoke with when I was leaving, and the cookout was over with, and they was asking me what was going on, and I told them, and they was like, I didn't know that was a cookout. I didn't know what was going on back there. And they were from Progress Village. And they was like, if I'd have known that was going on, I'd have went back there. Because like I said, if you don't know what's going on and you happen to walk up on the cookout, you ain't gonna know what we was doing. But you knew we was enjoying ourselves, we was having fun, and there was a lot of people with their family members out there. But like I said, if you don't know, you just don't know. So that's one thing that I feel like need to be worked on with communication with people who are not on social media. Some people are not on social media because they can't get on social media. You know what I'm saying? They may not. And just like I said, when I was passing out the hurricane preparedness flyer that the county gave me to pass out to the residents of Progress Village, I ran into a lot of our seniors who didn't have a phone. And when they needed to talk to somebody, that people would call their neighbor, and the neighbor come over and talk to them. It's a lot. And if you ever walk through the community, and if you ever knocked on some doors, you would know what I know, and you would see why I have the passion that I have for trying to get something started pertaining to communication with our seniors. You do have aging services, which is ran by Mr. Terrence and Miss Tammy. But then again, I want you to know, all the seniors do not go to aging services. So I know we're supposed to reach the ones we can, but I'm going to think about the ones we're not reaching, the ones we can't reach, the ones that don't know. Because the ones that do know, like I said, aging services in Progress Village is there. When I have something going on like today, tomorrow I get in contact with Mr. Terrence. I'm gonna go up there and let them know we got a community meeting going on, basically about them communicating with them, and want to hear some of their input as well. I'm gonna go up there and let them know what's going on, and that's how things start. You have to get the community involved, and you have to find ways to get the information out there. Before, when I was dealing with people, I was telling them about this. I was always getting kickback like, they know, they just choosing not to go. They know, they see them signs, they see this. I'm like, okay, now if they ain't got no car, how they see the signs? If they ain't got no car, how they see the signs you put out and things like this? And with me personally, I ain't got time to be going back and forth with you about why we should be trying to make efforts to get the community involved. I let this information available to the ones who is not available. I ain't got time to be dealing with people telling me they know and they this. And I done spoke with these people personally, and I know they don't know. And they feel like these grown people lying to me about it. I don't have time for that. So if that's the type of spirit you got, me and you ain't gonna click, and then you probably gonna be able to help out and the vision and the things that I'm trying to do. You have to keep an open mind, and you have to be willing to put in the work. So once again, I'm gonna tell y'all, and forever, we have a community meeting the 28th at 6:30 at Emanuel P. Johnson. We have a movie in the park. This is the first movie at the park in Progress Village at the big park, aka Progress Village Park, off of Progress Village Boulevard. Anybody can come. Any surrounding communities. It's a free event. It's a free family event. They're going to be giving away 100 bike packs. They're going to have free popcorn. I was told there's going to be some vendors there. I don't know what vendors. And that's another thing. If you're a vendor, are you a exhibitor? This meeting is for you too. We need to get a database together with them and let them know when we having events and when we doing this. And you know, we might need a vendor. We might need a exhibitor. And like I said, the difference between a vendor and a exhibitor. A vendor is selling something. A vendor is giving out information that's going to be beneficial to the community. So at the cookout that we just had, I invited several vendors, but one showed up, which is Baycare. Baycare showed up. So I just want y'all to know, if you affiliate with Baycare, thank you, thank you, thank you. I got y'all information, and I'm going to probably get in contact with them again and let them know about the community meeting that we having and seeing if they want to have somebody there representing Baycare. But I truly appreciate that Baycare came out. They was doing, I want to say, blood pressure checks, and they was checking for diabetes, I think. I'm not correct, then just blame it to me. They didn't say that this is what I'm saying, but I know I seen them check some blood pressures out there at the event. So, and they were an exhibitor, not a sponsor. I mean, not a vendor. So I'm going to end this live. And I just want to be thankful to everybody who supported the cookout, everybody who support the movement, everybody who support what I got going on and things and change that I'm trying to bring about in the community. And if you want to be heard, please come out to the meeting on January the 28th at 6:30 at Emanuel P. Johnson. I want you to have in your mind, it's going to be standing room only. So get there early. And another thing, if you got a seat and a young lady come in there and she ain't got no seat, get your butt up. You see it?